Welcome to TCK Exposé, where a couple of Pentecostal missionary kids talk about growing up between two worlds, how our faith sustained us through all of it, and what we're still carrying in our backpacks. I'm Jacqueline Sousa Harnish. I grew up in Venezuela, and I am here with Joseph Lear.
And I grew up in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Ivory Coast.
Welcome, bienvenidos, one and all. In this limited podcast series, in partnership with Slow Burn Christianity on Substack, we're going to talk about the joys and trials, the thrills and chills, and the blessings and curses of growing up like we did. In this first episode, we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, us. No, but seriously, we're talking about us, who we are, a brief history of our lives, and why in the world are we even here, Joseph?
Why indeed are we here? You were just so elegant there. I mean, like, it was so beautifully written and so perfectly executed. I can't.
Oh my goodness.
After all the technical difficulties that we had just getting to this moment, we were supposed to start 56 minutes ago. And 56 minutes of technical difficulties. And look at us. We're finally recording.
We are doing this.
Recording.
I'm so proud of us.
TCK. Let's say it together.
Exposed.
Expose.
Expose.
Expose. Or maybe we should do a call and response. I say TCK, you say expose. TCK.
Like a true TCK chant. Do it.
TCK.
Expose. TCK.
Expose.
Look at that. We'll get that by the end of this series, I'm sure.
Should we also begin by, like, I don't know, singing the MK song?
Should we?
If you look at me
and you
wonder what you see.
I may be tall, thin,
dark or fair. I may have long hair. Or freckles there, but there's something extra special, can't you see?
Oh, can't you see? For my
heart beats true
to all the countries of the world, and I love
my Lord Jesus too.
But I love him first, because that's how it should go. So you old timers
don't, which is also ageist, by the way.
It is.
I'm an
MK, a missionary kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to point out that we have, we probably sang it in like 3 different keys. And
it's okay.
I would like people to know.
That's true to form, though.
It is. And we're trying to do this not in the same state or time zone. So everybody don't judge us. Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, we did it.
We are here. Let's begin by first giving a little bit more about ourselves, huh? What do you like? Who are you? What's going on here? Tell us about yourself.
Why am I?
Where are you living?
Where am I living? Okay, so these are great questions, Joseph. Thank you. Here's the lowdown. I was born and raised in Venezuela, but being a TCK, being an MK, and a PK, triple whammy, I lived 4 years and then 1 year. So 4 years on the field, 1 year in the States, 4 years back and forth. I am the origins of a Kentucky woman and a Colombian father. And behold what they produce, right? Perfection. No, I'm not.
It's quite the combo. Yeah.
It's like
fusion
Lucy
cuisine.
Ricardo, Lucille Ball, Ricky Ricardo, like Pentecostal Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
This is it. So, but I currently live with my amazing hubby and my little 10-year-old, who's not little, my 10-year-old, but we're in Indianapolis and we're worship pastors, amongst other things.
Where are you worship pastoring?
We are worship pastoring at the Caring Place in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I hear that the Caring Place is a place that cares.
It is. How did you know? You haven't even visited us. I love that.
Actually, I have been there once before you were there.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's like me in point 25 seconds. What about you?
Okay, so I live in Iowa City, Iowa. The other I state, amongst many others. Every time I say Iowa, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I've been to Ohio." I'm like, "Nope."
Nope, not the one.
And I'm like, "Iowa," and they're like, "Oh, where the potatoes are." Nope, it's where the other I, but we have corn. So I've been living here now for 10 years in Iowa City. I've been pastoring, and someone's got a church here. I grew up, as I said, all my formative childhood years were in the sub-Saharan African region called the Sahel. So like right on the edge of the Sahara Desert, Mali, Burkina Faso. A little further south, closer to the equator, was Ivory Coast. Also lived there for a little bit. Moved back to the States my last year of high school, and went on a path to become a pastor, missionary of sorts, perhaps like my parents were. And here I am after all these years doing that very same thing. I'm married. My wife is a nurse and a nursing professor.
She's the best.
She is great. She's and I have nothing against your husband either, just for the record. Oh. He's also great.
He is.
She's a nursing professor at the University of Iowa, and we have 3 little boys: Lazarus, Barnabas, and Moses. 11, 7, and almost 6. So that's us in brief. So we're here because we're TCKs, which means what?
Talented, cool kids. Nope.
Exactly.
Nope. It means third culture kids.
Yeah.
That terminology came like later.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to get to that. But how do you what's the elevator pitch for what a third culture kid is? In your estimation.
Any child who grows up in a culture that's not their own. Would that be
their
correct?
Home culture? Something like that? Yeah. And
you can Google it, guys. We're not going to do all the work for you.
And then the third culture, though, is that the individual makes their own culture out of the 2 cultures that they find themselves inhabiting. It becomes like fusion cuisine all over again. Like Colombian Ricky Ricardo and Lucille Ball from Kentucky. Yeah. Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
You are the star child of TCK-ness. So we're
I was like, I am?
Yeah.
When did this happen? Oh, okay, got it.
So we inhabit this third space, as perhaps more modern contemporary lingo might put it, of not feeling at home in America entirely, and not feeling at home entirely in the countries that we grew up in, but feeling at home in both places and not at home in both places. Right. So we just find ourselves inhabiting a third space, right?
Yeah.
And we're here because we want to talk about our experience of being TCKs.
Yes. With each other and the world.
So let's get back to what you were saying, Jacqueline, about TCK being a later term. What is the term that you grew up with?
Yeah, so I grew up with MK. Did you grow up with that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yes. I felt a little like miffed, or like I'm on the outside of this third culture now, because they switched the terminology on me. Yeah. Like I was always just a missionary kid.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, for me, it hit me like square in the eyes. I was in college and I went on a task force, is what they called it, when older MKs would go serve other MKs, like at a retreat or something, and we would pour into them, which I loved that whole thing. We can talk about that, I'm sure, at some point. But it was in a sensitive area. And I got in trouble because I was in like a market in the open air and I said MK. And I cried.
You need to you need to describe what you mean by a sensitive area.
I do. Yes. Okay.
As in like a
my
country.
sensitive area is right by my elbow. No, I'm kidding. Yes.
It's in my heart.
My sensitive area is my heart. I am a weeper, so I should give that disclaimer, guys.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, my focus face looks very angry. I'm not angry at Joseph, no matter what he says. And then
Never,
also,
ever.
I'm a weeper. So by the end of this, at some point, I will have cried. I'm sure of it. But sensitive area meaning that we were in a country where persecution is rampant, where you can't say that you're a Christian publicly, or specifically, especially, cannot be a missionary there at all. So we weren't allowed to say missionary or missionary kid or MK. And so, man, I cried because I was in the market and I was like, that's what being an MK is all about. And all of them like whipped their head at me. And I was like, it's my fault.
Yeah.
If something happens, it's my fault. It was awful. So that was my first introduction to the term TCK. They were like, here, you got to call it TCK. And I was like, but the song doesn't work with TCK.
It sure doesn't, right? That
doesn't
beautiful
work.
song that we sang in so many keys. No, I had a similar experience. I remember being in a taxi in Nairobi, Kenya, and I began speaking openly with the person that I was with about a friend of mine who was a missionary in Somalia. And like 10 seconds into the conversation, I got like an elbow in the ribs because obviously the whole like point was, we don't know who this taxi driver is. Maybe he's part of Al-Shabaab and we're, going to kill our missionary friend in Somalia. So,
yeah.
So that was
high.
The stakes are high. It was a wake up call for me. And I remember having trouble sleeping that night because it was just so disrupting to think like it's, it's CIA level,
right.
sensitivity.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
real
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where the term TCK comes from.
Yeah.
Do you remember the old school term MESC?
No.
There was
What's
one.
a MESC?
Well, evidently it was the word that was used before MK was used. And there was one MK event that I was at where someone who had worked with missionary kids in the Assemblies of God had, in the distant past, kept on referring to MKs as MESCs from the mic. And everyone roasted this individual. I mean, if there's anything
ruthless.
that missionary kids are good at, it's at roasting people. And it was ruthless. They were like, MESC, what is this thing, huh? Get out of here.
You're a MESC. What is
You're a complete MESC. Go home. So, anyways, I don't know why they said MESC. I think it was just a slur of MK or something like that. But
Okay.
it's like you put the S in between. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I feel
Yeah.
a deep affinity for the word missionary kid.
Yeah.
And though I can understand the sensitivity.
Yes. And I will say too, like, which some people, I did maybe I won't go into that, but I did a study on missionary kids for one of my classes. And I asked like the definition of missionaries kid versus missionary kid. Like, how did that make you feel as a as a missionary kid? How did that make you feel? Because for me, it made a huge difference, and I actually loved it. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, this is not my mom and dad's calling. This is my calling because I was clearly placed within this family unit. So I am a missionary kid. I'm not just a missionary's kid. But I think for some other people that put a lot of pressure of like, oh my goodness, I'm a missionary kid. And it didn't quite sit well. Like, I didn't choose this. Why would I be a missionary kid? So anyway, it's just interesting that it's not, oh, you're a missionary's kid. It's like, no, excuse me. I think you mean missionary kid. That's me.
Yeah, accurate. And I'm sure that, well, I started in ministry when I was like 7 years old. I was already my mom's sidekick in all children's ministry related activities.
Yeah.
So people look at me puzzled to this day when I say, I've been in ministry now for 33 years and I'm only 40, but they're like, well, I'm almost 40. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, you're born into this thing when you're in a Sons of God missionary family.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's talk about why are we doing this? And this gets at the expose part of it all.
Yeah.
Talk about this study that you did, because I feel like that's at least one motivating factor, right?
Yeah. I mean, man, how do we boil it down, Joseph? I'm doing this because Joseph asked me if I would like to do it.
Hold on. Let's back up. Actually, the first thing I said to you was, let's do a podcast because your voice is too elegant to waste not being on radio or podcasts. Radio sounds more elegant. Radio voice. Oh, is that not true that I said that?
It is, but you already threw in missionary kid. You already had me. You know what I mean? You'd had it in that first one. It was like it was a combo. You had the flattery and the like delicious topic that I love so much. So, no, the reason I'm doing this is because I loved my complicated, beautiful upbringing. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I also know that it was super layered. It was layered for me, but super layered for so many people, you know? And so I love the idea of being able to shine a light on our experiences. And we grew up 2 different continents too. So I love that. Like, we've got perspectives here. But I love being able to shine a light on our beautiful, messy upbringing. And hopefully at some point, this shining a light can help maybe other TCKs that are walking through and processing some things as well. This could be like MK therapy of sorts, the Exposé.
That was the other title that we actually spitballed, was it not?
It was.
I think that therapy, my concern about using therapy was that it might sound a little you know what I mean? Like, oh, they're gonna get out the tissue box. They're gonna moan and complain about everything, which is not at all why we're doing this, right?
Yeah, no.
So it's really about the marketing here. On the other hand, Exposé sounds like there's secrets that we're going to reveal.
Yeah,
which
like actually, where my sensitive spot.
It's in your heart. But honestly, hopefully, for some of our listeners, there will be some things exposed about the complexities of your parents deciding for you that you're going to live in a foreign country and grow up in a very complicated place and live, therefore, the rest of your life as a complicated person. And the reason I'm doing this...
Tell me, Joseph, why are you doing it?
Well, one of the reasons why I'm doing this...
Because you, too, have a radio voice that should not be wasted.
There's the flattery coming right back at me.
I like how you went.
I'm blushing, okay? We need to get back to your study, by the way, but one of the reasons why I'm doing this is just that I'm a freaking grown-up now. And I finally feel like I can say that. Mm-hmm. And that there have been things that have taken place in my life, in my spiritual walk, in my professional life, and in my own just sense of personal growth, that I feel like I've actually been able to start piecing together how I really feel about my childhood and name the complexities. Yeah. So... not to let the cat out of the bag or anything, but like I've been able to acknowledge recently that I was in 3 war zones before I graduated high school. And that's wild. Yeah. And those 3 war zones were not the only 3 times I was like 90% sure I was going to die. Yeah. 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 And that's
real. That's like your
real.
life.
That's complicated.
That happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but back to you. Tell us about this study. And like, in some way, I feel like why you did the study is why we're doing the podcast.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to alley-oop you. I don't know.
Thank you. I think that
Maybe I
means
overthrew
sports. I think that's a sports term. This does not sport, so I might have just missed your alley oop. Um, but no, so my study, it's I'm getting my master's, and it was a research class, and so they were like, do something that's dear to your heart, that you're familiar with, but that you'd like to know more about. And so immediately we were just off the cusp of me having taken a culture class, and so I was like, oh, I need to do it on my MK upbringing, and it was so specific and so beautiful, and I wish I could share the results like here in this, but I did not have people sign a waiver for that, so I can't do that. But it was super eye-opening, and just so beautiful. It definitely stirred in my heart, like, oh man, there's more here. Like, there's so many stories to be told. And yeah, so it's this again. It just talks of the fun and the wild and the bizarre and the lovely, all wrapped up in one.
The
And
pain and the joy all at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, man, the blessing and the curses. There's like supernatural, crazy stuff, like that we witnessed, that we experienced, and then again the putting oneself in harm's way for the sake of the gospel, and putting family, like, it's just so complex and beautiful. And so yeah, that's why I did the study. And I also just wanted to see, like, how are all my fellow MKs, TCKs that grew up in the same region as me, in the same timeline as me, like, how are we doing? We're hitting our 40s now. Like, how are we doing? It was just a checkup. It was a little checkup. Tell me how your spirit is. Tell me how your soul is. How are you doing? And so it was really cool. There's lots of stories out there. And hopefully as we do this, we'll get to hear more stories too.
Yeah. Another reason why I wanted to do this with you, Jacqueline, is because of this necklace right here. See that? That's Africa. Yeah. And this necklace represents for me a recent transformation in my own kind of owning of my own story, to the extent that for the vast majority of my adult life, I have felt like I could not claim Africa as my own, despite loving it and having grown up there, because I'm not actually African. And this gets back to that TCK thing, right? Like inhabiting the third space, and feeling like an imposter because I moved around a lot in Africa, even though I was in 3 countries, and in those 3 countries I lived in innumerable houses and towns and villages and so on, all very unique experiences, but no continuity with friends, and very little continuity with language either. I grew up hearing a lot of one African language. I spoke a lot of French with my neighborhood friends, but the French that I grew up speaking was not the kind of French that French people speak, and feeling like I couldn't own it. And then, but more recently, and this was a magical moment for me actually, that there was a young African girl in my church here in Iowa City who had kind of like the inverse experience of me, where she moved here with her parents at a very young age. And she helped babysit our kids for a little while. And I saw her tying a bread bag closed. And I looked at her and I said, "You tie bread bags the African way." And she looked at me and she was like, "I've never thought about how this is the African way of tying a plastic bag." I was like, "No, it totally is." And she looked at me and she's like, "In some ways you're more African than I am." And I could have fallen on the floor and wept in that moment, because it meant so much to me that this African girl was telling me that I belonged in some way. Yeah. And so that's in part why I'm doing this. Do you have Venezuelan citizenship?
I do. I have dual citizenship.
Okay.
It's a little complicated and messy right now.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I have dual citizenship. My whole life, loved it. I loved that. Um, I haven't been to Venezuela since 2010, so it's been 16 years.
Mm.
And my parents actually were pulled out of that country once things got really, really rough. And so they're actually stationed in Colombia, which is the country my father originated from. Originally from.
Hmm.
So yeah, but my husband, this is cool. My husband did get to go to Venezuela before it all shut down, and we were just dating. But it would like that to me is so special to be able to know that Josh was literally in this place that holds so many of my memories and in childhood, and he can understand a little bit of that side of me. Has Holly been able to go to any of your countries?
She's been to Ivory Coast with me, but where we went in Ivory Coast was nothing like where I was in Ivory Coast.
Okay. Okay.
So we helped with a missionary event in the Assemblies of God in the capital city Abidjan
Yeah.
of Ivory Coast when we were living in Scotland together, and so we got to see the capital city and like some of the beach towns, but that was a very, very small blip in terms of my experience. I would
Yeah.
love to take her to Burkina Faso someday, but
Yeah.
things are complicated there now too.
Yeah. 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 So citizenship wise, I do have dual citizenship. I haven't been able to travel there. All the embassies were shut down. It's a little complicated. You have to like, I can exit the U.S. as a U.S. citizen, but I cannot enter Venezuela, or I couldn't. I don't know what it's like now. I couldn't enter as a American citizen because I was born there. So they would require me to enter as a Venezolana. And so once that passport expired because the embassies were shut down and stuff, it just got really complicated. So I haven't been able to, but I have hope that someday I'll be able to go. Someday I'll be able to take my son there. He's been to Colombia, so it's like I can be like, this is similar culture. This is like what's in your blood, the Colombiano blood here. This coffee runs in your veins. But yeah, other than that, my son hasn't been able to go. But well, how old were you when you became a missionary kid, a TCK? Were you born into it? Like, were your parents already doing the thing, or?
Yeah, so this is the our story part that we need to get to, isn't it? So, a brief history of Joseph Lear's life.
Do it.
My parents were church planters in New Jersey, so they planted in a town called Paterson, New Jersey, which has a whole movie about it now called Paterson, and it's Adam Driver, whose name is Patterson, who drives a bus in the city of Paterson, New Jersey. It's a little artsy fartsy. I watched
Okay.
it just because it was about Patterson, whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, my parents planted a church there. It was kind of like an inner city church. My dad, even though Pentecostals, Assemblies of God people, pastors especially, don't wear clerical collars, my dad started wearing a clerical collar because he was one of the only white dudes in the neighborhood. And most people thought that he had to be there to be buying drugs if he was in the neighborhood. Turns out,
Wow.
turns out he was schlepping Jesus, not drugs. So in some sense, I mean, they were already appointed U.S. missionaries at that point. So I was born into that setting. So in some respects, I was born a MESC, an
Uh-huh.
MK, a
Yeah.
TCK, if you
Yeah.
will. But when I was, I think, 3, we moved to Quebec, Canada, where my parents studied French. My mom already had some French because she had lived in Belgium before my parents got married. And then we were there for a year. And then in 1991, when I was, I think, four-ish years old, I was turning 5 that year. We flew through Senegal into Bamako, Mali, and landed in Bamako, Mali in the early 90s when there were still only like a couple of like traffic lights in the capital city. So in terms of capital cities, still pretty primitive. I remember feeling like this is just one giant village or villages kind of glued together in this sprawling metropolis. And of course, that's also where soon after we moved there, the first coup d'etat happened, and all sorts of terrible, no good, very bad things happened. We came back after 2.5 years because I think Quebec counted towards our 4 years. AG missionaries do a 4 and 1. You already referenced this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We came back to the States for a little bit, raised some more money. Then we went to Burkina Faso, Western Burkina Faso, which is the same language speaking group as where we were in Mali. And that's where my parents were for the rest of their time in West Africa. The reason I mention Ivory Coast is because that's where I went to boarding school, which
I was going to ask. Yeah.
I have feelings about boarding school.
Okay.
Boy,
were you
do
in
I have feelings.
boarding school the whole time?
No.
Okay.
I went to boarding school in 8th grade.
Okay.
Which we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Okay.
But to wrap up the history, my parents did church planting, Bible school work. My parents started a literacy school for adults to learn how to read and write so that they could then go to Bible school to become pastors. And I remember every Sunday we were at a different church in Western Burkina Faso. And sometimes we would drive our Mitsubishi 4x4 on a bike path into the bush for 3 hours, and at the end of the bike path there was a church.
Wow.
And that was Sunday church for us.
Yeah.
So anyways, in 2002 I was at boarding school. War broke out and I was stuck in the middle of a war zone, couldn't get out. Eventually got rescued by the French military and American Special Forces. There's another story there. And that's when we moved back to the States. That was my final year of high school. So and then it wasn't long after that we met, because we started working missionary kid events together as MK graduates ourselves. So your turn.
My turn. Tag I met. Wait, I do want to clarify. So you started boarding school in 8th grade, but then you were there then from then on. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
those were formative years too.
Socially tumultuous years.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So mine is less complicated, or not as eventful, maybe, regarding moving. But yeah, so born on the field. I was actually born near the Orinoco River. I was born in Puerto Ordaz, Venezuela, which is Amazon area. And my parents were doing missionary work there. I think my dad would get on a boat. They'd get on a boat and travel into villages and spread the gospel. I have 2 older brothers, so I am the baby and the only girl, which they say makes me my parents' favorite, but they're lying. I got spanked just as much as anyone. But can I say that? Can I say that my parents spanked me? Is that allowed? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a thing to celebrate with some people these days. That you got.
All right. I love my parents. So as long as people don't cancel them, is that a thing? Do people still cancel people now? Anyway.
Yes, actually.
I have digressed. Okay. That's sad. So here we are. I was born in Venezuela, in Orinoco River, Puerto Ordaz, not in the river, but near it. And then 6 months
It was
later,
a water birth, everybody. I want you to know that.
Hold with piranhas. No, listen, this is real. And I just got to give a shout out to Jill Sousa. This is my mother. This woman gave birth to me with as a cesarean section, C-section. So already major surgery in a hospital in the middle of the Amazons. And she did it under armed guard because there was a death threat on the surgeon who performed the C-section. So they literally were like,
your birth is of biblical proportions. You're you're following in the footsteps of your own Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, with the threat of death hanging over your head even as you exit the womb. I mean, this is incredible stuff. Listen,
I don't know that I would put it up there, but I would say that my mom is a boss and she did it, and I cannot
a boss like
wild.
the Virgin Mother
Hey-o.
See what I'm doing here? I'm
I see
riffing
it.
on your family history here. This is your
see it.
memoir in the making.
It is. I just don't know how theologically sound it is. No, but
Do you know who you're talking to, Jacqueline?
the Reverend Doctor. Yes. So, no, she's just a boss. There was a guy with a gun in the hospital and he wanted to kill our doctor. But I'm here and I think he didn't do it. I think he's alive still. So yeah, she did that. And then literally 6 months later, I think is the timeline. My parents, no, maybe like 3 months later, they moved to Merida, which is in the middle of the Andes Mountains. So it's like a plateau completely surrounded by the Andes Mountains. It's the Ciudad de los Caballeros, which means the city of gentlemen. And that's where the bulk of my life was lived. I did, and they literally launched a church. Like I grew up with this church, like literally grew up with this church. So as I was taking my first steps and first breath, like this church was as well. And they took an old pornographic movie theater, an old XXX church. And I mean, not church. They took an old XXX movie theater and turned it into a church.
By the way, XXX Church was in fact
It was
a nonprofit organization in the.
Are they not a thing
in the
anymore?
aughts? I don't know if they are or not, but they were like an anti-porn parachurch
Yeah.
ministry. That's why you had the slip, not because
That is
of anything else.
Yeah. No. And I was there when I've done like stuff with XXX Church. I've like attended services where they're there. So I think that is there. But my parents took a XXX theater, turned it into a church. It was called the Gran Casino, the Great Casino. And they turned it into La Gran Campaña de Fe, the Great Campaign of Faith, which is, the church is still thriving now. I'm so proud of how they've handled just the shutdowns and COVID and all the things. It's just so cool to see the people of God being the people of God. And so anyway, I did that. I also was alive during a coup. I think it was a coup attempt in Venezuela. And like we were put under martial law, but I don't have a lot of recollection of that. My parents and my brothers certainly do. And then, yeah, I think at one point we're going to talk some politics at some point. So we can talk through all of that as well. But that's like my moving consisted mainly between Venezuela and Kentucky, which are two very different worlds. But I loved it.
So people are going to, in future episodes,
yes,
get a window into our lives and how we have unpacked them.
Yes.
I really do think that the image of a backpack is helpful for me. I don't know. Were you a backpack kid?
And I was a fashion kid, late to all the fashion trends, but I rocked whatever fashion I was doing with boldness. But yes,
maybe it.
I was you know what? I was a backpack kid in public school, and when I was in the States, I did public school, and so backpack kid all the way then.
I mean, at some point, every kid has a backpack, right?
Right. No, the analogy works because I understand.
Thank you.
I know the weight of it.
I was getting worried there that you're going to be like, meh, bad idea, bro.
Let's just cut the backpack. I had a backpack that looked like a Volkswagen Beetle.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to be picturing. When
I had a backpack that looked like a bumblebee.
I like that.
Yeah, I think I still have it actually. No. And I carried all of my very special and precious toys in it.
Yes.
That went with me from country to country and place to place and continent to continent. I still have a little T-shirt that I carried with me as like a security blanket. But, you know, everywhere I went, I had a backpack of stuff that was very precious to me that made me feel like I had my own little set of trinkets and things that would make the new place feel like home. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, from the other end of the spectrum, when I was at boarding school, there was an abiding awareness that war could, in fact, break out at any point.
Wow.
So we all had to pack a backpack and have it sitting in our, bedroom permanently, just in case.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it carries with it, no pun intended,
Yeah.
a sense of both comfort and mobility and urgency that were the mainstays of my childhood years.
Yeah.
So
My
we're gonna open up our little backpacks.
We're gonna open them.
Jacqueline's backpack.
Can
Joseph's
you
backpack.
like bring your Bumblebee backpack for us at some point? I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
that should happen.
yeah.
And so like this is your life, right? Like you're dealing with these huge major issues and your backpack is like literally holding like life supporting things. My experience of packing a backpack in case of emergency was because we had experienced an earthquake and it scared me. I was little. Man, I don't even know how old I would have been, maybe like 5. And I remember just being so terrified of like, if this happens again, I'm going to lose all my toys. And so I packed my Volkswagen backpack. I packed it and then I carried it around everywhere with me for several days. And the reason was in case of an earthquake. But then eventually I was like, well, another one hasn't happened in a long time. So I put it
So
away.
you took the toys out.
I took the toys out because I was like, this is cute and I need it to be functional.
So we're gonna open up the backpacks of our lives.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And talk about those things that you mentioned: the beauty, the joy, the trial, the tribulation, the sadness, the difficulty,
the blessings, the curses.
That's exactly. So in the next episode, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little more about our origin stories and the different facets of our parents' ministry.
Yeah.
But to close this episode, I wanted to just offer a picture, one more picture of what it means to be an MK, which is, remember
there
this?
There he is. I remember.
There's
is it he or she?
Miko.
Miko.
Which I feel like is a masculine ending.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
I said it and then I doubted it. There he is. Who
in the
drew
Assemblies
that?
of God, my mom actually recently painted this. She's taken up watercolors in her retirement.
Love that.
And anyways, I had a pet chameleon in Dedugu, Burkina Faso, named, wait for it, Camellia.
I love that.
It was so creative.
much.
And Camellia was not a people person.
Okay.
She struggled socially. But I kept her anyways and caught grasshoppers and fed her and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so the image of a chameleon resonated with me when I found out that the MK office out of the Assemblies of God World Missions Organization identified the chameleon as the MK creature.
Mascot. It was like our full-on mascot, right?
Our full-on mascot, right? It was even
Yeah.
on the flags, on the T-shirts, etc.
Yeah.
Because chameleons can adapt to their surroundings.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that Jacqueline Sousa Harnish can do,
and Joseph Lear can do,
is adapt to our surroundings.
It's adapt and or choose to not.
Exactamundo.
Yeah.
So this is going to be TCK.
Exposé.
And we'll see you on the next episode, everybody.
Hopefully, watch us.
Don't forget to subscribe to Slow Burn Christianity and find us.
Do it.
Wherever the internet leads, because it's all linked now.
Wild.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Ciao. Hasta luego.